Is the Shroud of Turin a real relic from the time of Jesus, or just a clever medieval fake? Many believe that carbon dating can give us a clear answer, but the truth is much more complex. Today we will dive deep into what the shroud is, how carbon dating works, what tests have shown, and why this cloth continues to be one of the greatest mysteries of history and faith. The Shroud of Turin is a long linen cloth, about 14 feet long and 3.5 feet wide. On this cloth is a faint image of a man who appears to have wounds similar to those described in the crucifixion of Jesus Christ. You can see marks on the wrists and feet that look like nail wounds. There are also marks on the head that look like they could have come from a crown of thorns. Many people believe this cloth is the actual burial shroud that wrapped Jesus after he died on the cross. The first clear historical record of the shroud is from around the year 1354 in France. It appeared suddenly in the possession of a French knight, and it quickly became an object of fascination. People came from all around to see it, believing it to be a holy relic. Later, the shroud was moved to different places across Europe and eventually to the Cathedral of St. John the Baptist in Turin, Italy, where it is still kept today. Even though many Christians believe it is the burial cloth of Jesus, others think it is a fake created in the Middle Ages to attract pilgrims. In medieval times, many churches displayed relics, and some of them were not genuine. At the same time, the Catholic Church has never officially said the shroud is the true burial cloth of Christ. Instead, it allows people to view it and encourages scientific study to learn more about it. So how can we find out how old the shroud really is? One of the best tools scientists have for finding the age of ancient objects is carbon dating. But what is carbon dating, and how does it work? All living things have carbon inside them. A small part of this carbon is a type called carbon-14. While a plant or animal is alive, it takes in carbon-14 from the air or food. But when it dies, it stops taking in carbon, and the carbon-14 inside it starts to break down at a steady rate. Scientists know exactly how fast carbon-14 decays. By measuring how much carbon-14 is left in an object, scientists can calculate how long it has been since the object was alive. This process is called carbon dating. Carbon dating has helped scientists learn about ancient civilizations, date old bones and cloth, and even understand when volcanic eruptions happened. It is a trusted method that has been tested many times, and it has helped build the timeline of human history. Because of the importance of the shroud, many people wanted to know its true age. In 1988, scientists were given permission to test the shroud using carbon dating. This was a big moment, as it was the first time scientists could use this technology on the shroud to find out how old it really was. Small pieces of the cloth were taken from a corner of the shroud that had been handled many times over the years. These samples were sent to 3 different laboratories in Oxford, Zurich, and Arizona for testing. The results were announced to the world, and they shocked many people. The tests showed that the shroud was made between the years 1260 and 1390 AD. This meant the shroud was around 600 to 700 years old, not 2,000 years old. For many people, this result proved that the shroud could not be the burial cloth of Jesus. They believed it must have been made in medieval times, possibly to create a religious relic to attract pilgrims and donations to the church. However, the results of the carbon dating tests did not end the debate. Instead, they started a new wave of questions and controversies. Some scientists and shroud researchers argued that the samples taken for testing might not represent the whole cloth. The corner where the samples were taken could have been part of a repair done in the Middle Ages. If newer cloth was sewn into the shroud during repairs, the carbon dating results would only show the age of the repair, not the original cloth. Other researchers suggested that the shroud could have been contaminated over the years by handling, dirt, smoke from fires, and bacteria. All these things could add newer carbon to the cloth, making it appear younger in the tests. In 1532, the shroud was damaged in a fire, and it had to be repaired by nuns who sewed patches into the cloth. This event could have introduced new materials to the shroud. Some researchers believe that the heat from the fire and the water used to put out the flames may have also changed the chemical makeup of the cloth, possibly affecting the carbon dating results. These concerns led many people to question whether the 1988 carbon dating results could be fully trusted. Some scientists believe that the testing should be repeated with better methods and more carefully chosen samples. Others continue to support the original results, saying the tests were done properly and the results are accurate. While the carbon dating results suggest the shroud is from the Middle Ages, other studies and observations have added to the mystery. Some scientists have looked closely at the image on the shroud and found it is not painted. The image is only on the very top layer of the cloth's fibers, and there are no brush strokes or pigments that would suggest it was created by a painter. The image on the shroud also shows a level of detail that some researchers believe would have been very difficult to create in the Middle Ages. For example, the image appears to show details about the wounds of crucifixion that were not commonly known at that time, such as the placement of the nails in the wrists rather than the palms. Some scientists have tried to recreate the image using medieval techniques, but have not been able to produce a result that looks exactly like the shroud. This has led some people to believe that the image could have been created by a process that is still not fully understood. Other studies have found pollen grains on the shroud that come from plants found in the Middle East. This suggests that the cloth may have been in that region at some point in its history. However, this evidence is not enough to prove that the shroud is from the time of Jesus. Blood stain analysis on the shroud has also created debate. Some experts believe the bloodstains match the wounds described in the Bible during the crucifixion of Jesus. Others argue that the stains could have been added later to make the shroud look more realistic. Today, modern technology is being used to study the shroud in even more detail. Scientists are using advanced imaging techniques, chemical analysis, and computer modeling to try to learn more about how the image was made and when the cloth was created. Despite all the tests and studies, the Shroud of Turin remains a mystery. The Catholic Church continues to display it from time to time, allowing millions of people to see it and reflect on its meaning. For many people, the shroud is a powerful symbol of faith, regardless of its age. For scientists and historians, it is an intriguing puzzle that challenges their understanding of history and technology. The debate over the shroud's authenticity continues, with strong arguments on both sides. Some believe it is the true burial cloth of Jesus, while others see it as a remarkable piece of medieval art or a carefully crafted fake. Carbon dating has given us important clues about the age of the shroud, but it has not ended the mystery. Instead, it has opened new questions and encouraged more research. As technology continues to improve, future studies may help us learn even more about this mysterious cloth. For now, the Shroud of Turin remains one of the greatest mysteries of history and faith. It reminds us that there are still many things we do not fully understand, and it encourages us to keep asking questions and seeking answers. What do you think about the Shroud of Turin? Do you believe it is the burial cloth of Jesus, or do you think it is a medieval creation? Let us know your thoughts in the comments below. If you enjoyed this video, please like, share, and subscribe to our channel for more deep dives into history's greatest mysteries. Thank you for watching, and we will see you in the next video.